Welcome to the Wire to Wire podcast. As always, it's me, your host Yusuf. Now, without further ado, let's just get right to it. Patrick Beverly and Trae Young have recently exchanged some words on social media. Now, obviously, this is basketball related, but it seems as though it's slightly crossed over, no pun intended, into a personal vendetta between the two, just in terms of the level of insults that they seem to be hurling at one another. So what I want to do is I want to play for you guys some clips of the back and forth exchange that both of these guys have been having with each other.
Question: why do NBA players play so hard in random open gyms in the summer but give no effort in the All-Star game with millions watching? My response is because All-Stars take the game for granted. It's not one All-Star on a basketball court. It's just good, naturally good bump. Trae Young's response was,
he said, relax, let us speak for ourselves. Interesting.
I don't know. I don't think he's in a position to speak. I don't think he's one enough to even speak to me like that or tweet me like that. He's been to the playoffs 3 times. I've been to the playoffs 9.
9 is more than 3.
He's been in the NBA 7 years. My first 7 years, I didn't miss the playoffs at all.
Interesting.
In the Western Conference.
Interesting.
Right? His rebuttal is probably going to be, yeah, you want the main player on the team. You're absolutely right. But this is why it's a team. I've talked to people who played in Atlanta. They don't want to play there.
Why?
They don't think he's a good leader. They don't think he's a good teammate. This is not coming from me, motherfucker. This is coming from Joe Blow over here. Trae, you can score all the points you want. You can make all the money you want. You can have all the leading assists you want. You can do all that. If you don't win, that shit won't matter. If you don't win, when you're retired, they're going to forget your name. Fast, too. So I don't even think he has the wiggle room to talk about, fuck, are you not playing hard for an All-Star game? You're not like you're playing in the playoffs. The fuck?
So what do you think his point is?
I don't know.
He's just trying to put himself above you?
I think so. Like, let us speak. Like, what do you mean? Okay, well, let the motherfuckers who played in the playoffs more than 9 years speak too then. Before you speak. Motherfucker you played with told me, Pat, man, that shit ain't the Atlanta Hawks. That shit called the Trae Hawks.
Interesting.
And then the first word he used is relax. And I'm like, motherfucker, relax. You should be uncomfortable. You should be more uncomfortable. All right, that's the problem. You too motherfucking relaxed. 7 years, you made the playoffs 3 motherfucking times. You're too relaxed. Motherfucker, get uncomfortable. Really get uncomfortable and lead your motherfucking team to some more wins in the playoff push. The game is better. The game needs that from you. Trust me. It's kids up here that look up to you. You talking about me fucking relax. You get uncomfortable. I challenge you to do that. Don't put yourself up here, right, because you score a lot of points and a lot of assists, but you lose.
Well, it seems like he's just trying to take it as a chance to take a shot that you haven't been in an All-Star game.
Obviously. But I've been on teams who won 50 games. I don't know what missing the playoff feels like. I have to tell my family every year, yeah, daddy be home in June. I don't know what April and early May in Atlanta feels like. I don't. Knee deep in the trenches.
I mean, I think the obvious answer to the actual question is that people are trying to get better in the summertime, and nobody's trying to get better during the All-Star game. They're trying to, just get a fancy layup.
Okay, well, if that's the case, go get MVP every year in the All-Star game. Then I won't say shit to you. You relax. Motherfucker, you know what? Don't relax. You get uncomfortable. Fuck that. You're too relaxed. You're too motherfucking cool. Stop being so cool.
You said it. You went to the playoffs 9 times. I've only been to the playoffs 3. You're right. You have 6 more playoff appearances than me. Let's bring up some more facts. You've been to 1 conference finals. I've been to 1 conference finals. What year was that for you? Just another fact, year 9. The year I made it was year 3. Just a fact. You want to know another one? You averaged 7 points and 2 is. I don't even know why I'm doing this. Like I'm really not even here to talk about my numbers, but here they are. Let's get into some more facts actually. You talk about a winner. What have you won? Tell me, what have you won? And don't respond with that like sympathy. I won in life, I won in basketball, because you did, man. You made it to the NBA. There's very few many people that can say that. But at the same time, bro, it's levels to this shit. It's just different timetables, I get it. You're a little bit later into your career. I was 19, about to be 20, going into my rookie season. Do you want to know your age going into your rookie season? You were 24 your first year in the NBA. So you're talking about uncomfortable. Man, you don't know what uncomfortable is. You talk about winning and impact winning and all these things. You've been on some teams with some big-time players. How about I go through a list of these guys? LeBron, Giannis, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Ant-Man, Cat. And we're not even going to talk about how we celebrate play-in wins. I win play-in games on the road, and I'm ready to get to the playoffs. You win play-in games at home, and you standing on the scores table acting like it's a championship. We celebrate wins different too. But let me get back to these guys. You've had some great teammates over these years that you've only been able to make the conference finals with because your impact was that strong. One time, James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Sweet Lemon Pepper Lou, and Dwight Howard. I can go on and on. Them is just the Hall of Famers.
If I'm working out in Houston, James Harden is in Houston working out, not James Harden is working out at another place. Every time we see you, you're working out at another place. We never see you in the Hawks arena working out. What teammate, what leader? Like, I come to the Lakers facility, LeBron is there 5 o'clock in the morning. I come to Milwaukee Bucks facility to get my work in. Greek is there already. James Harden has been there, practices, and he gonna come back that night. You're the only person we see on the internet never at your practice facility. It's wild. It's wild. Like we gonna be real, let's be real. That's real. You're not a great leader. Can you be a great leader? Yes. Yes, you can. Right? Right? Will it take this? Probably so. Regardless how it goes, it's gonna be good that comes out of this, regardless. Right? I hope this is motivating, right? I hope that you get to the end of the year and you fighting for a playoff spot. I hope that this is so fucking motivating that this takes you to the Eastern Conference. I hope. Trust me. I like to see you at half court shipping them little ass shoulders, right? But don't get it twisted, Trae. Like, don't get it twisted. When you talk about facts and basketball, these are facts. You don't win. People get fired. Simple as that.
So what do I make of their little back and forth? They're both right. Patrick Beverley is not or was not at any point an all-star level player, and he's not even an elite level player. He's a marginal role player that played with a lot of energy. I still remember when Russell Westbrook said,
Not Bev trick y'all, man. Like, you play defense. So you don't guard nobody, man. Just run around doing nothing.
and I think at the time that was actually an accurate assessment of Patrick Beverley and his game and what he brings to the table. He is a provocateur on the court, and he can make a 3 or 2, but that's about all that he brings to the table. Now, Trae Young is a good individual talent for the era and time in which he's playing in right now, but I'm not convinced on his intangibles or that he is actually a winning player. He just doesn't have that X factor where he can actually elevate a team and propel a team to the promised land the way that Stephen Curry has been able to throughout his career. Now, the reason why I bring up Stephen Curry specifically is because he is the player who Trae Young tries to model his game after. And you can try to model your game after someone. It doesn't mean that you will be as good as them. There is that X factor, those intangibles, those things that truly matter and what separate an elite all-time great player for a good player in their era, which is what I think Trae Young is. So Patrick Beverley was also right in his assessment of Trae Young, because Trae Young up until this point hasn't actually proven that he could be that superstar caliber player that could lead a team to winning a championship. I think Patrick Beverley is not wrong for what he said, but I think it's just the fact that he said it all together. Unfortunately, we live in a very fake and politically correct world where speaking the truth is often frowned upon. People would rather hear pleasantries and nice things rather than hearing some honesty. It would have been more politically correct for Patrick Beverley to just sit there and say, Trae Young is like my brother, even though he very well may not even be friends with the guy. But that's just how much we've utilized soft language to placate people's feelings rather than just speak truth. So Patrick Beverley, in a sense, he broke an unwritten rule in a corporate professional environment. Just because these guys are athletes, it doesn't mean that they are not in a corporate or professional environment themselves. There is an expectation or a standard on how they are to levy criticism and how criticism is to be levied in general. For example, there can be someone at a job who is incompetent or has no clue on what they're doing. but you're not actually allowed to say it out loud. And the person who calls it out, they actually end up getting demonized over the person who's actually being discussed. And that is especially true when the person in question is actually favored by leadership in some scenarios. So sometimes you just have to keep on keeping on and just see things and observe things, but never actually speak on those things. The reason why I bring up this example is because this is how we're conditioned socially. And this is something that has now bled over into other factions of society and life. So back to the main story with Patrick Beverley, to say what he said about Trae Young, in a sense, he kind of broke a fourth wall. And you don't really hear NBA players speak like that about other NBA players. But I must admit, I do personally find it refreshing to see. But I have a feeling that they will eventually force both of these guys to have a conversation, and they will end up squashing things. And at the end, they'll say something like, at the end of the day, this guy's like my brother. We're part of that fraternity, blah, blah, blah. All the stuff we usually hear them say. But it was refreshing to see a little bit of honesty being injected into basketball dialogue. And in regards to what Trae Young had to say about Patrick Beverley, in a sense, he's kind of punching below his weight class. Trae Young and Patrick Beverley are not held to the same standard. So their expectations are really not the same. So you can sit there and you can point to how marginal of a career that Patrick Beverley had, which he wouldn't necessarily be wrong on, and I might tend to agree with, but that's low-hanging fruit for a guy like Trae Young. Rather than attacking Patrick Beverley, a guy who's not really on his level in terms of basketball talent, he's better off saying something like, oh, so that's how you want to talk? Okay, watch this. And then go into the regular season and start cooking. And once you're cooking and you're having a great season, then you can go to Patrick Beverley and say, yo, remember all that shit you were talking? What now? Put him in his place. But Trae Young took the approach that he took because he felt personally attacked, because the truth always tends to sting a little bit more. And because Patrick Beverley spoke an uncomfortable truth, he felt obligated that he had to respond because he felt that he was personally attacked. But for him to even respond in the manner in which he did, like I said, this is low-hanging fruit. And I know this criticism is something that deep down in the crevices of Trae Young's mind, he knows that this is true. He was drafted the same time as Luka Doncic, and he has nowhere been as successful as what Luka Doncic has been so far. They are not even in the same stratosphere. Luka Doncic is levels above the kind of player that Trae Young is. And not only that, he at least has a finals appearance under his belt and is more than likely going to win a championship well before Trae Young does. Now, I believe Luka Doncic won't be primed to win a championship until LeBron and his Make-A-Wish son get off of the Lakers. But he's more than likely going to win a championship well before Trae Young even comes close to trying to even compete for one. But this was just a quick episode that I wanted to touch on. I found this interaction to be quite amusing, and I wish there was more of this honesty when critiquing NBA players that came from other NBA players, but it is what it is. That's what the independent guys are here for. We understand that there's going to be times where guys are going to be very selective in who they criticize and how they criticize them, because there's a lot of politics and there's a lot of agendas going on behind the scenes. But overall, I thought that this was a pretty fun exchange, and this is just my takeaways from it. But that's all I got for you guys today. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast and share with your people. You guys can also follow me and the podcast on social media. You guys can also check out my books. All of the links will be in the description. Until next time.